Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. Hope that you guys are all having a great day. I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. I'm going to move this right on over. So for those that are going to be asking, what platform am I using to trade? Feel free to Google it or YouTube it. It's called the TD Ameritrade Think or Swim platform. It's the one I use. You don't have to use it whatsoever. There's so many different brokerages out there. Feel free to explore the different options out there. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about today, and DGAS continues to push up. So it's I was setting up for this live stream. I literally sold my position right before this live stream. If I'm not mistaken, let me go ahead and double check when I sold. So we can click here, click show trades. I bought as I averaged up, and then I ended up selling right on over here. So I feel like I did a really good job waiting for my entry point. And it's an idea and a concept that we covered within the Learn Plan Profit group this morning. So I trade live with this group, Learn Plan Profit. It's the second link in the description if you want to learn more about it and how you can watch me trade live every single day. It's something that no one else offers on a consistent and everyday basis. So we would love to have you as a part of the team, only if you were to see value in it. So I am a little bummed that I missed out on this nice little push up. It was about 1%. It's okay. We already called it out that now it's a little bit more on the overbought side, overextended. I made a video yesterday on my YouTube channel talking about how to sell a stock effectively. I got a couple questions after that of like, we talked about confirmation, all that good stuff. Can I show an example of what it's like to buy a stock effectively and efficiently? And what I mean by that is, how many times have you guys taken a position, let me give you, or how many times have you guys taken a position where, you get in, you think that you bought the dip, it begins to show signs of an uptrend, or let me give you a perfect example. Let's imagine that none of this data has already happened, right? So it sells off, sells off, sells off. You guys might be asking, why was there such an aggressive sell-off? So every single Thursday, 1 hour after the market opens, there's this natural gas report, meaning that either UGAS or DGAS goes up or down. It was in favor of DGAS. It pushed up, and then it began to sell off. It sold off, sold off, sold off. DGAS was the one that was actively trending up this day, today. So I knew that DGAS would make somewhat of a good deal for a dip buy. One thing that I noticed is that once it sold off, it tried to push up. One thing that a lot of people make the mistake on right away is that they try to get in when something finds a support and begins to show signs of an uptrend, although it's still below the EMA line, which is this little like light blue line that you see right here, which is going to most likely act as a resistance. People decide, if you get close to or near to the EMA line, people still decide to get on in that position. What happens? Acts as a resistance, gets rejected, and makes lower lows. Continues to push up, makes lower lows. And then now you begin to identify this kind of pattern where it found this support. And the reason that I was aware that this could potentially happen, like how did I know that you never know 100%, but one of the things that I paid attention to was /NG. So /NG is the correlating future for UGAS and DGAS. So when natural gas, as in this, when this thing goes up, DGAS goes down. So all I was trying to focus on is like, what's a peak or a pretty high price point that natural gas normally hits, like this price range. And based off previous patterns within the past couple of hours, natural gas has had a resistance in between 2.60 to 2.61. You could see the resistance there, you could see the resistance there, you could see the resistance there, and you could see the resistance there. Based off previous patterns, it makes sense. So when there's a huge push up for natural gas, normally people would be like, okay, because this pushed up so aggressively, I'm just going to, buy the dip on DGAS and hope that it goes up. And that's not necessarily always the case, because like we saw 2 weeks ago, sometimes DGAS doesn't actually recover. And look, we just actually broke and getting very close to that 117 price points. Then, oh, there we go, 117. So now I'm really bummed because we missed out on how much? It's okay. So at least I'm making this video. We missed out on about 2% margin. RSI is a little bit more on the overextended side, but now this is another perfect example. Now DGAS is super overbought, super overextended, but the thing that people think that will happen right away is that I'm just going to buy the peak of UGAS, because now UGAS is super oversold. The MACD, it looks good. And people think that, okay, I'm just going to buy the dip and hope that it goes up. One thing that assisted me in my success today and feeling comfortable and confident, not just trading, anyone can have a good trade. But what made me feel comfortable and confident about my trade is understanding that, patterns tend to repeat themselves. And looking at natural gas, and when it was trading in between 2.60 and 2.61, I saw that it doesn't just hit this price point and then sell right back down. That's not what it does. And looking at previous patterns, it pushes up, it consolidates, and then it begins to sell off. It pushes up, consolidates within this range, and then it begins to sell off. So that's one thing that I pointed out, that as it was pushing up, don't be so quick to think that, okay, because it's so overbought and the inverse ETF should be so oversold, I should just buy it. You should look at previous patterns at the different indicators and see how it performed before. And, like they say, patterns tend to repeat themselves. So what is it that you are going to implement and do to review previous patterns and effort to understand what most likely can happen? It doesn't 100% mean that it's going to happen, but it's the understanding that, like, right away, as someone maybe like bought the dip on UGAS, right? So I'm sorry, on DGAS, right on down here, right? Let's say they bought the dip here, and then it pushes up, and then it pulls down, and then pushes up, and then pulls down. Like, that could be a roller coaster of emotions. And if you don't feel comfortable, or if you don't understand kind of like the overall pattern that it might have to offer, then it could become a little bit scary. So one of the things that I really like to focus on is, obviously we like to focus on understanding the patterns. So looking at natural gas, I understood the low points, I understood the high points, great. Understand this horizontal pattern based off of what natural gas offers right now. Now, I like to make sure that I get a good deal. So I saw that natural gas, again, was super overbought, and it made sense on why DGAS around this price point, based off previous patterns, it was a good deal. The RSI looks good, the MACD looks good, it makes sense. Two things, right? Now the overall confirmation, making sure that I'm investing in something that's actively trending up. One thing that I do is I slowly begin to add more to my position size as it confirms an uptrend, meaning that I'm not going to just buy the dip and buy $30,000 worth of DGAS at the lowest price point possible, because I don't know if that's going to be the lowest point. If I want to get some skin in the game, what I normally do is I'll add 100 shares, right, of my position at where it is that I feel comfortable. So I identified a pattern, I know that it's going to consolidate, and I understand that. I buy 100 shares, and then when it begins to confirm an uptrend, I'll add an additional 100 shares, and then maybe 50 shares. The whole point of this is adding more to my position as something confirms an uptrend. That's it. So as of right now, DGAS is showing signs of it being a little bit more on the overbought side, overextended. RSI, overextended. MACD, beginning to show signs of a potential reversal. I want to give it a little bit more time, because I know that this, based off of the patterns that it's been trading at today, again, it doesn't mean that it has to do this, but I can even look at natural gas based off of previous patterns, because they're inverses of one another. Looking at where 2.58 is, this is extremely oversold for natural gas within the past 24 hours. So I know that for you guys, this could be a really good deal. So now what can I do to make sure that I feel comfortable and confident? Give it a little bit more time to consolidate. We've talked about this best practice before. If you are someone that takes a position right away, and that if you would have just waited 5 or 10 minutes, you would have seen that it would have still continued to sell off, or you're so quick to enter a position that you always go to the red after you take a position, then wait 5 to 10 minutes and ask yourself again. If you're someone that consistently struggles to get in and always invest in something that continues to downtrend, then be more patient. It's very simple best practices that you can begin to implement that can lead to huge results. So that was my biggest focus today. I'm not up a huge dollar amount. Again, right now, all my positions are closed. I'm up $480 on the day, 262 on ticker symbol UGAS, 218 on ticker symbol DGAS. And again, it's 9:32. Market's been open for 2 hours. I've been trading, a little bit during pre-market, a little bit after the natural gas report. Now I just want to give it a little bit more time. Again, I've identified a pattern. I've identified a margin of profit that can be worth it in my eyes. Again, if it's not worth it to you, then don't trade it. If it's worth it to me, then again, that's my eyes and that's my opinion and it's my money and it's my risk, right? So it doesn't matter what other people think. If you're trading something, if there's a reason behind it, you feel comfortable with it, and you have a success plan, as in you're managing your risk, right? 1 to 2%, whatever it is that you correlate as your max percentage loss. You wait for confirmation. If you want to grow your account, it makes sense to invest in patterns that are showing signs of growth. Then make sure that you implement what it is that you already know and add some structure to your trading. Just because the market is so accessible and just because you can buy the dip doesn't mean that you should. Have a reason behind it. Have a plan. 90% of people fail. What is it that you are going to do and implement that is going to set you apart to become that 10%? Your goals and visions have to align with your overall, just goal of what it is that you want to do. So if you want to do this 5, 10, 20 years down the road, then you need to make sure that you don't aggressively approach the market to discourage yourself to ever do this again. So just kind of wanted to show you where it is that I've been at for the day. And one thing that I actually wanted to break down, it's a member within Learn Plan Profit asked me to break this down, and it's STNG and what I thought about it. So this is, I think, one of my first times breaking it down. 180-day analysis. Oh, it looks like I've broken it down before. Looks like it's a horizontal pattern. Overall low points around $16. Overall high points about $20. Yes, it is showing signs of an uptrend. RSI is a little bit more on the overbought side. So is the MACD. And based off of the price range from $16 to $20, it makes sense on why STNG is more on the sell range than the buy range. Again, it doesn't mean that it can't continue to uptrend. You just have to manage your risk and ask yourself, is the margin of profit, does it outweigh the margin of potential loss? If it does, great. If it doesn't, then guess what? You simply don't have to trade it. So that is pretty much it for today, team. Again, if you guys have not subscribed, we're literally like less than 3,000 subscribers away from reaching 500,000 subscribers. We're the largest YouTube out there for those who invest in the stock market. And we also do run the largest private Facebook group. It's the first link in the description with over 191,000 members all across the world. So if you've ever wanted to stay connected with like-minded individuals and learn more about how to get started invest in the stock market, be sure to click that first link in the description. And again, if you want to be able to watch me trade live every single day, then all you have to do is click that second link in the description to learn a little bit more on how we can work on a much closer basis every single day. Wish you guys an amazing rest of your Thursday. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. If this is the first video that you've watched from me, I have over 1,300 videos on YouTube. I would encourage you that even before you join our free group or the Learn Plan Profit group, that you become more familiar with my trading style and make sure that it's something that you resonate well with. If you don't find my trading style effective, then 100% find another person that you do. Some people are a little bit more aggressive than me. I like to focus on consistency, being a little bit more conservative, and I also invest in different markets such as real estate, and I also invest in cars. So I wish you guys an amazing rest of your day. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note.